Let me take you back to almost a year ago, the end of May 2022. There was a brand new Genshin Impact update 2.7 with some phenomenal content and a new character that came out, Yelan. Now, I don't have many regrets when it comes to Genshin Impact. However, at this point during the live stream for 2.7, I vividly remember thinking, wow, she just looks like Sing Shou, but a little bit better. And that really wasn't for me at the time. I was like, I don't really want a 5-star that can just do the same thing as a 4-star pretty much. And oh boy, was I wrong. Ever since I decided to not pull for Yelan, I've been eating myself up about it because she looks so fun, especially for overworld exploration, which I absolutely love. And now that I am starting to take the Abyss a little bit more seriously, it basically would be nice to have a Sing Shou on each side or somebody that does the similar thing. Luckily enough, her banner is coming back up pretty soon, so I will be pulling for her then. But it got me thinking, so I decided to ask 40,000 people over on Twitter what their biggest regrets in Genshin Impact were. So welcome in, YouTube. Today's going to be a fun video where we sit down and we have a look at a lot of people's different regrets in Genshin. So to start off, let's begin with Mr. Tenha TV. Tenha's biggest regret in all of Genshin Impact is spending $10,000 on a standard banner on day one. That hurts me to read because $10,000 is a lot of money. However, I'm pretty certain he did manage to get like C6 Diluc from that, so GG. I mean, I love Diluc, so worth, kind of. But I can understand the regret of spending $10,000 on the standard banner on day one, especially. Not knowing where the game's gonna go, if you're gonna enjoy it, if you're gonna keep playing it, but I guess Genshin just had that initial pull, so that's fantastic. You should definitely check out Tenha, by the way, fantastic content creator. Yariko27 said, leveling too many characters and talents at once equals no Mora. I don't know about you guys, you'll have to let me know down in the comments below, but the amount of times I've fallen into this, I wouldn't say trap, because what else are you gonna spend Mora on? But this same situation of spending all Mora on like 2 characters and then having none and having to go farm and farm and farm. I mean, I remember when I thought 100,000 Mora was a lot, and now, I mean, I sit at 4.5 million Mora and it's still not enough. Quirky said, not getting Yoimiya. I wanted her since release, but no primos left. Now to this, I say, if you want a character that much, you can always save, and I mean, Yoimiya's had a lot of reruns at this point. However, they do also keep doing Yoimiya very dirty by placing her around other cracked banners, so it's not even a case of you just don't want Yoimiya enough, it's just that if there's like a brand new Dendro unit that comes out, or an Archon, for example, a lot of people might be more inclined to pull for those rather than Yoimiya. I kind of hope she gets a banner with another character that's not quite as sought after at some point soon, because that'd be really nice for her and for the people who really want her. Kyra Land said, tried to pull Miss Splitter as free-to-play and then attached this image. Pulling on the weapon banner as free-to-play is terrifying, I can imagine. The weapon banner is already a scam, but doing it on a limited amount of primo gems that you can only earn from inside of the game is terrifying. I get the question a lot of, should I pull on the weapon banner as free to play? And my answer is always the same, and it's totally account dependent. If you feel like you already have enough characters and you want to build teams and you're at the point where you're like, okay, my account's pretty sorted. I've got this character, I've got that character, they do what they need to do, but it's lacking something and it's more so like damage, then I honestly think pulling on the weapon banner is fine, especially if it's a weapon banner with like absolutely insane 4 stars, for example, right? But it is totally account dependent and person dependent, because not everybody's gonna want the weapons. For one, if I was free to play, I think I would always rather have a new character than a new weapon, but it does depend. If a weapon's really good, then yeah, I can imagine pulling on the weapon banner as free to play. Jihi said, spending $200 on standard early game similar to Tenha, but then spending $230 just to get a 4-star. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with this or disagree. I swear, sometimes getting a 4-star is harder than getting a 5-star. I remember pulling on a viewer's account a couple of updates ago, or last update even. I think it was for a Layla, maybe. And we went through 290 pulls just to get the 4-star. Now, at times like this current update, when there's Lantern Right and you can guarantee yourself a specific 4-star, it's not too bad. But when it's an update where you cannot guarantee a 4-star, you're kind of screwed. I don't know what I'd do to make that better, if I'd add some kind of 4-star pity or something, but I feel like something does need to change. Butterbean said, using fragile resin before AR45 because I didn't know. If I wasn't making content around Genshin and streaming it, I also wouldn't have known and would have used it and been extremely disappointed in myself. One of the biggest tips tips I can give to newer players is hoard your fragile resin until AR 45, AR 50 even. Just don't spend it before you get in those golds and the high-end stuff from the domains, more boss drops and stuff like that. It's just not worth it. You get more bang for the buck by waiting. Ali said, not starting when I first discovered the game due to the fan base and the rumors around the game itself. Now it's getting every Sumeru character so far, my poor Mats. Yeah, I mean, I can understand not wanting to start a game due to like the fan base and the overall image of the game. I can get that. Usually it's more a case of that when it comes to like MMOs and games where you're going to be playing with a lot of other people often, but even for single player games, I can understand that. Oro said, accidentally turning my primos into the standard banner wishes, almost 40 wishes. Ouch. Phantom said, being lazy with my builds from the beginning. I don't want to be no meta slave, but sometimes the for fun builds are a little too bad, especially at Abyss. Yeah, the for fun builds can be insanely good in the Abyss, but you do have to obviously invest in them quite a bit, so that's understandable. MeToon said, I farmed Crimson Witch at AR 40 because I liked Diluc that much and got nothing but dog shit. Sounds like a skill issue, to be honest. Subotai said, skipping Kokomi for Yai Miko. Semi-hot take here? I don't know. I love both characters, and I think both are absolutely fantastic. I did choose to pull for Kokomi over Raiden, and I don't regret that in the slightest. I still didn't pull for Raiden on the rerun. I love her in the story, not a big fan of her actual character. It's just a me thing. But I did pull for Yai Miko, and I absolutely love her as well. So you won, but at what cost? RJ said, maybe regret isn't the right word for this, but I hit AR 60 yesterday and I feel a bit sad that I can't level up anymore. I regret pushing for XP because AR 60 is anticlimactic. I learned from my other mistakes, so I don't regret those. Understandable. I honestly think they should increase the AR cap and make it easier to level up. Increase it by quite a bit if they're going to keep the rewards as bad as they are, just to put it bluntly. Those rewards for AR 60, considering how long it takes, are ridiculous. It's so terrible. So I completely get that. A lot of people said playing it as a regret for Genshin. I mean, I've played a lot of games that I just don't like and that I've grown away from in terms of just not enjoyed playing anymore. I don't regret them. It's an experience. It's a learning curve. I don't think you have to regret something if you just don't enjoy it. Carlos said, all those horrible artifacts I leveled and locked in early game when I didn't really know how to build characters, also using all my map pins on crystals back in the day. Map pins are the bane of my existence. I actually don't like to use the interactive map too much, even though I'm starting to get used to it a little bit now. So I like to go around and find the stuff and then pin it. But I have realized there's really not that many pin slots for the map. So I just keep getting full and full and full and full and full and full and full. And it's just hell. Akuma said, I once played on the account of a friend who was still new to the game. I asked her if I could do anything or if there was something I wasn't supposed to do. She told me that I couldn't do anything wrong. I C6'd her I C6'd her Bennett on accident. I'm going to be honest here. Depending on the teams that they used, I think you did her a favor. So many people absolutely dogpile on C6 Bennett is bad because it's all they've heard. C6 Bennett is almost a net positive for most teams. A lot of the times people will say, but if you C6 Bennett, it ruins this team. A lot of the teams that people are talking about don't even have Bennett in the best teams anyway. So C6 Bennett is not as bad as people make it out to be. I have suffered a net gain ever since I C6 my Bennett, and I don't regret it in the slightest. Zoriko-san said, losing 50-50 to Diluc when pulling for Ganyu. Well, that sounds like a win to me. I've tried pulling for Ganyu on all her till date banners, I believe 3, and lost pity to Diluc all 3 times, and I'm left with C2 Diluc. That's a dub. Thank you very much, Hoyoverse. Yeah, no, I can understand though. Losing the 50-50 to the same standard characters all the time, not that great. Pyro Phoenix said, pulling Chi-Chi. I pulled Chi-Chi yesterday from the standard banner. I'm so happy. I'm not sad at all. I didn't want Wolf's Gravestone or Diluc C4 or any of the catalysts that I still don't have. I'm so happy with my C3 Chi-Chi. Yusuf said, pulling Eula. She's been on the bench a long time. I don't regret pulling Eula because I still enjoy using her every now and then, but it's very, very, very rare. My big issue with certain characters like Eula is they suffer from success. And I know that sounds ridiculous to say, and a lot of, especially like free-to-play players might be thinking, that's so just greedy. They really do suffer from success badly. Eula, for example, her ult is the best thing about her kit, and it does a hell of a lot of damage. I want to say maybe 70% of the time, if not more, something goes wrong with it. Either it doesn't crit because she's hard to build in terms of crit rate, especially with the artifact sets that she need. I get very unlucky with Pale Flame or Bloodstained, but also the fact that she does that much damage while building the damage for her ult that things die anyway. Things die before the ult goes off. Then you've also got the teleporting enemies or iframe enemies that go underground or go invincible that block the damage. Honestly, I find Eula just annoying to play based around that, and that's kind of sad to me. Ayase said, making 2 accounts to pull for Albedo in 1.2. I got the Festering Desire on one account, but Albedo on the second, and I missed that sword so much. She was the prettiest. Yeah, event exclusive weapons is very sad. Making 2 accounts is something I don't think I could ever do and keep up with because I have that much to do on just one account. I don't know how people maintain 2. I really don't. AJ said, none really. I used to regret getting Klee during the 1.6 update because Kazuha was next, but I love Klee, so the regret lasted for just a few days. And I got Kazuha on his second, so it's all good. I still haven't activated Benny's C6, so I can't really say I regret anything. AJ, C6? You're Bennett! I'm kidding. Only if it makes sense for your account, but genuinely, so many people put so much value on not C6ing, and I promise a lot of people, it's not as bad as people say it is. It's really not. Maybe try it out somehow first. I kind of wish Hoyoverse had either an option to activate and deactivate constellations and also just to try out the constellation before you do activate it. Like you could click on it and click test and just see if there's any differences. That'd be kind of nice, but maybe I'm asking too much there. Brookie said, seeing the Genshin Online community. Mixed feelings because I think a vast majority of the Genshin Online community are phenomenal people. There's a lot of very talented people, especially artists and things like that on the Twitter and social media, but there is a very loud portion. I don't even want to say loud minority because I don't know if it's a minority or a majority or just a middle of the pack kind of thing, but a very loud portion of people that just ruin a lot of other people's time, which sucks, but a lot of fandoms have it. So, all right, let's go through a speed run real quick. My empty pockets, playing it, artifact grind, choosing NA server as someone who lives in Asia, sad. Pulling for Yaimiko, regret is a characteristic of the unrighteous. That's deep, I think. Spending money, not playing this game sooner, Pog. Started playing it and can't quit anymore. Please help. Oh, not Pog. Not getting the Wolves Greystone when it was on the banner, now I'm still waiting. Same! I wasn't playing when it was on the banner though, so I have an excuse. Okay, couple of personal ones here. Tante said Jean. Now, Tante, I'm gonna ask Tante if I can put this in the video, but it is a very sad situation. Tante has been playing this game, I think, since pretty much release. She has spent a lot of money on the game, rightfully so. I always say, hey, if you have the money spare and you want to spend it on the game, then do it. A lot of people that are judging you are going to spend the same amount of money on going on nights out and getting nothing in return other than a good time. At least you're getting a good time permanently here. But Tante has got C6 of the majority, if not all of the other standard banner characters, and C, I think, 0 Jean. We've tried a lot of different rituals of pulling for Jean for Tante, and nothing has worked yet, so I am going to be trying a ritual of my own soon, which may or may not involve a blast from the past. Kyra Susan said, maybe missing out on making some memories because I don't play co-op. Sometimes I feel sad remembering events like Windbloom are gone and that I didn't make the most of it, or that I never tried Theater Mechanicus in co-op, but I don't feel I have any other regrets in Genshin. I came back to this one and said, do you think you'd join the events now if they came back in co-op? And they said, I think I would. The 3 reasons I didn't do it were mostly tied to being scared about getting hacked, people speaking trash about my main when I tried joining and not being in a community like today, the brand flakes, and also not knowing Theater Mechanicus had co-op until the last day in 1.3. That's fair, understandable. I feel like a lot of people do have this kind of fear factor when it comes to co-op, that people are gonna trash talk and judge and just be generally nasty. And I just want to say, if you're interested in trying out co-op events and stuff like that, but you really don't want to risk getting those horrible people, which do exist sadly, join the Discord. The link's in the description below. We have a lot of really friendly people that like to hop in. I play on stream the co-op events all the time, so if you want to make sure that you have a good time and you do want to experience the co-op stuff, then join us. It's an easy way to just make sure that everyone's having fun. Zara said, playing on a different region than the one I live in because of people who have all quit the game long ago. I had this problem with a lot of other games, especially MMOs like Elder Scrolls Online and even World of Warcraft. I decided to make accounts on NA even though the ping was going to be bad because of the people that I played with, and eventually those people stopped playing or took long breaks and I was there alone with a really bad ping. So when I started Genshin, I was like, I know my community and audience, a lot of people are in Asia and NA, and there's honestly not that many from EU from what I knew at the time, but I just said, I'm going to do this for me, and decided to play on EU, and I'm really glad I did. I've met some fantastic people in Genshin co-op from EU. It's wonderful. And that's pretty much it. That is the regrets of a lot of people in Genshin Impact. Let me know down in the comments what your biggest regret is when it comes to the game, or if you even have any. Don't forget to absolutely bomb Baku down the subscribe button as well. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.